Grab the duct tape and mentally prepare yourself for yet another mind-expanding knowledge bomb from America's #1 business coach, Clay Clark.
That's it. Bombs away.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to another edition of the Thrivetime Show on your radio. And today's knowledge bomb is about this concept that you can't call it a fireplace if there is no place for a fire.
Weird.
What?
Chup, can you please explain where this show came from?
All right, Clay and I went to the DMV. Is that what it's called?
The tag
agency. I'm
Yes,
sorry,
yes.
the tag agency. And we walked in, and Clay said, "Is this where the line is?" And the lady nicely said, "It starts by the fireplace." And confused, I turn around and don't know where to go. And I see Clay take a seat, and we're sitting there. And about 10 minutes later, he points, and there is a mantle on a wall with no fireplace and just drywall.
They didn't even paint a picture of a fire.
So we have to put this on the show notes.
Oh, the photo?
Yeah, because it won't make sense unless listeners see this. But we're at the local tag agency, and the lady says, if you guys will grab a seat by the fireplace.
I was so confused.
Now, typically, when I look for a fireplace, Steve, I am not a mortgage professional like you, Steve Currington.
Right.
I am not a man who used to manage a concrete team like Mr. Eric Chupp. But I can say this, when people say, could you go over there and sit by the fireplace?
Like in the man cave, there is a fireplace.
Yes,
So
I
I
this is what it
immediately go back to my false assumption that there would be a place of fire nearby.
should- Yeah.
Now, if she would have said, hey, turn to the unneeded mantle that is showcasing sheetrock, I would say, oh, I know where that is because that's here.
With the fake flowers adorned.
But, so anyway, it would occur, this is a hot button for me because I was talking to somebody over the weekend who is a member of the Thrive Nation who was talking to me about their service. And this is, I want to help you. This is a helping conversation. They called me, I've known them for a long time, and they said, hey, I want to raise the prices at my local restaurant, Chup, to kind of more of a premium level. I want to be more exclusive. And I'm not exaggerating. This is not a Tulsa business, but this is a business in the Dallas area. And, Steve, I've been there one time.
Yeah.
And I want to make a list of all the things that are not happening in this business that if they would fix them, they could then maybe make the jump to premium. So
Right.
I'm going to list off the things that are not happening at my friend's restaurant. And I went over this with him, stream of consciousness. I wrote them down on my little yellow notepad in the car. I went over them, and I was like, I got to share this with somebody. I've got to share this. Because he goes, dude, that's so good, man. Good, yes. Because he's struggling to raise his prices in Dallas, has a restaurant.
Right.
He wants to be more premium. He's Italian restaurant, so I'd say he's kind of like
That's amore.
currently at the price point of the Olive Garden and wants to leapfrog up to more of a premium. And he said, hey, how do I do it? And I said, well, mechanically speaking, because he wanted to know, how do I tell my customers about my new price increase? How do I go about it? How much is too much? And I said, well, first, let's just go through a little checklist of things we need to make sure that we're hitting on before we can call ourselves premium. And these are the things that he said he did not currently have in place. And I thought this was a good teaching moment for somebody out there because really, you can't call it a fireplace if there's no place for fire.
Right.
And you can't call your product premium or exclusive if it's not even average.
Right.
So here we go.
You can't charge steakhouse prices out of Mickey D's. It's just not a thing.
So one, you have got to have call recording in place. So what do I mean by that? I mean, you have to record your inbound calls that are occurring to your business. Because at my friend's restaurant, when you call ahead to get a reservation or just to call about anything, nobody ever answers the phone, Steve.
Right.
Ever.
Yeah.
Have you been to a restaurant like this where the phone just rings?
Yes.
No one ever, and no one calls you back,
Yeah.
and no one checks
There's no
missed calls.
voicemail, there's
nothing.
Yeah.
Second, Chup, you've got to have video recording.
You've got to.
So back to the call recording, we recommend a program called clarityvoice.com. We will put that on the show notes. We also recommend for video recording, we recommend a company called REO Link or the company, the cameras you can buy at Lowe's called the Nest cameras. But I would like to get your wisdom on this, Chup, and then Steve Currington's. Call recording. American Express records the calls. Southwest Airlines records the calls. Disney records the calls. Whole Foods has the video cameras up. Target has the video cameras up. Every big company has video cameras or recorded calls, but most small business owners push back on it. And they question the
not
ethics
ethical.
of it. They begin to say, why do I have to set up call recording? Is it ethical?
Not ethical.
I don't want to be intrusive. I don't want to be.
It's actually unethical.
I don't want to manipulate my customers.
American Express.
I don't want to manipulate my customers. I don't want them to feel like they're being watched. I don't want the people to feel like they're being watched. I want people to feel like there's jackassery run amok and I have no idea what the crap's going on.
Let me tell you. If you want those people to feel like they're not being watched, that's an invitation to jackassery, okay? So you have to let them know. No, you're not putting up cameras and hiding them. There's nothing unethical about it. All right, welcome to work. We're going to be recording your butt on this camera. Not actually your butt, but we're going to be recording you guys on this camera here. And that way you know what your team is doing. Back to call recording. There is no telling what the people you put on the phones are going to say to your ideal and likely buyers when they interact with them if you do not record those calls and have a script for them to follow.
But we do know that according to the United States Chamber of Commerce, that 75% of employees, according to the United States Chamber of Small Business, according to the United States Chamber and the CBS News, according to the CBS News and U.S. Chamber, we'll put the link on the show notes, 75% of employees report to stealing from the workplace. And according to Inc. magazine, over 80% of employees lie on their resume. So the track record is not good. And all I can say is that you have to set up call recording and video recording. Steve, what kind of jackassery will you catch on video when you install video cameras for the first time in your business, restaurant, etc.?
Well, I just wanted to say jackassery, so I started with that. The kind of jackassery that you'll find is, one, people not working. Two, people like, well, first part of not working would be not being there when they're supposed to be there. The second
even there
part,
at all.
No, not even there. The second part would be they're there, but they're not working. So, like, maybe they're doing the water cooler thing. Or
Watching a movie.
They're not. Yeah.
Inviting their friends over.
Yeah.
Serious.
Yeah, and especially if you have, if you can't be there every minute that the place is open in order to watch it. There's a certain amount of accountability where, first of all, people forget that you're video recording. They just do. And so what happens is, they'll just not be paying attention. And next thing you know, they'll be filling out a job resume or they'll be like selling some other company's goods on the clock.
Working an MLM call system, a call script, starting their own multi-level marketing company out of your call center, not marketing your company, but marketing their company.
Right. Yeah.
I remember we used to have a guy in the web development team. This guy was hilarious. I'd see him on cameras walk out from his desk and begin to walk around and kind of look around like, and then he would talk kind of quietly like, this isn't a good time, but what do you got? And he would talk, and you remember this guy, and I won't mention his name, but you remember him, Steve. We had to let him go finally. Yeah. But you remember how like just gradually he became less and less. When we first started working with you, you'd see him in meetings, you'd see the guy, he'd be around. Over time, it was like, where'd that guy go?
Yeah.
Where is he?
Because he was out back on his phone.
Trying to get side deals. Not a good deal.
Right.
Now, the next thing I talked to my buddy about, I said, listen, dude, you've got to have your branding in place. Like, you can't be the only fine Italian restaurant in America with a website that's horrible. I mean, it has to at least be presentable.
Yeah.
So you've got to have good branding, got to have menus, got to have the logo, got to have a website. Steve, have you been to a local restaurant before where the prices are talking about an item that they don't carry? Have you seen this before? Or the prices aren't accurate, or there's just massive spelling errors everywhere. Have you seen this before, Steve?
I was at a restaurant, and then we was with Marshall just the other day, and we commented about the fact that they took like a pen and they put a star like at where all the like the sections are, and then they highlighted it in like a different colors. And I was like, this is your menu.
They call that janky.
Yeah, and you can't charge a premium if that's what your menu looks like.
My wife and I went to a restaurant one time, and this is a true story. We were in San Diego, and this restaurant looked like it was kind of struggling, but it was on the beach. And we go in, and I just like to visit kind of local restaurants, kind of support the local companies if I can. And I go in there, and I said, I would love the lobster bisque. Because you got the lobster bisque.
You're right by the ocean,
I
so
like the idea.
It must be fresh.
I asked, and she says, well, we don't carry that anymore. And I said, okay, no big deal. because we had a glass of wine, we're on a date, the weather, the water,
out.
just you can hear the water rolling. You hear the birds. The sun's going down. The West Coast. It was more of a pleasant thing. It was more of a
sorry.
It was good. I'm serious. California,
It's awesome.
Sunset, awesome.
Yeah.
Weather 70s or whatever. We're going there. I'm having a great time. And so I ordered
The next thing, I don't remember what it was. When you say you
Order, you mean Vanessa did.
Yeah, and then they say, we don't carry that anymore.
Caesar salad. We don't have
So
that.
finally, Vanessa says, well, what do you carry? And they said, oh, we have the seafood sampler. And it's a seafood, like a soup sampler kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And I ordered that thing. And nothing has rocked my body
Oh, no.
more. It was like a Justin
But not in
Timberlake
a good
rock
way.
your body cover. Has Vanessa told you about that?
No.
I
gotta go.
I began eating through the soup, this stew, whatever, and I look and I'm like, I don't know if this is normal, but that fish seems to still have an eyeball in it. I'm not kidding. There was like a fish head floating around in there,
Oh, gosh.
and I'm going, oh, so I like pick it out and move it over, and there's like octopus or
Goo. Some kind of goo.
what else can you put in? What are some normal? It wasn't like it wasn't like a local
scallops
restaurant from
or-
China. It was like the tentacles of like an octopus or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, calamari.
It was all in there.
Yeah.
And I'm going, whoa. And
Whoa.
so that all I'm saying is that the branding of that restaurant, they weren't helping themselves. They had great decor, they had a great location, they had the whole thing going for it, but there was no branding, no menus, no. Now the website was a disaster. I couldn't find the restaurant. I didn't even know the restaurant existed except we were walking by that beach area. You've got to have an optimized website, Chup. So I want to make sure you put that on the show notes. You have to have an optimized website. Now, the signage. You can't call yourself a fireplace if there's no place for fire. We're going to put this on the show notes so you can see a picture of the local tag agency where the lady said to me, hey, go sit by the fireplace. But there was no place for the fire. Therefore, you can't call it a
Oh,
fireplace.
it's really warm over here.
Signage. Chup, why do you have to have signage if you're a restaurant or any other kind of business?
Yeah, you've got to get that walk by traffic. You got to let people know where you are, and back to that branding, it's got to match. If you wanted to make it a money with your
Make it the
Italian
money.
restaurant, you can't have like a cardboard sign with an uplight shining on it from a mag light flashlight. You got to have a real sign, and that's just what you have to do.
Now, the next move is marketing materials. One sheets, brochures, video, anything that your consumer can see or touch has to be world class. And I'm just going to list them out here for you. Your business cards have to be awesome. Your one sheet needs to be great. Your menu boards. Take a flat screen, right? Put the menu board on it. That way you don't have to print out a $400 and $500 menu every single time. Just keep putting them on the flat screens. Those all need to be world class. Now, when you sit down in a restaurant, they have the little, Steve, what do you call those things? Where you sit down and it's like the menu, it's standing up.
It's
It has like the drink menu and the appetizer menu, but it's
Oh, it's
sitting
right
there.
there.
Oh, it's like a topper or tent. Or
Table
a t-
tent.
Table tent.
Table tent.
Tabletop or tent, whatever. You have everything has to look awesome, and my buddy's restaurant just doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. But I care. And the next thing, this is the real abomination with my buddy's restaurant. The sites. His family is famous, guys. Famous. Like people in Dallas, I would say 1 out of 10 people know their name.
Really?
And at no place in their business is there any reference to the name of the family.
Well, that doesn't seem smart.
Nor is there photos of the family. If your family is famous, if your family has been successful, in this case, in movies and that kind of thing, you want to put pictures of your family like in the movies.
Yeah.
If
It's
you-
not the time to be modest.
seriously.
No.
Like,
should
have you
use
ever been
that.
to Billy Sims Barbecue?
Yeah,
he's
it's called
everywhere.
Billy Sims for a reason.
Because Billy Sims was a Heisman Trophy award-winning athlete. He also played for the Lions.
Right.
He played for the Sooners. And there's pictures of Billy Sims everywhere, which makes it feel like it's not just a normal restaurant. It's Billy Sims.
Right.
Because
and they
Billy
can
Sims...
charge a premium because of it.
Billy Sims is there.
It's Billy Sims.
You couldn't call it Billy Sims Barbecue if there wasn't Billy Sims on it. Nor can you call it a fireplace if, Chup, there isn't
A fireplace.
a place of fire. Okay.
Is this thing on?
Now,
This is
the
an important one.
sites, the sites, okay? The sites, the visuals all have to say, up goes the value.
Right.
All the sites have to say, up goes the value, up goes the price, up goes the credibility, up, up, up. Chup, why do the sites all have to point in the upward direction instead of the downward direction?
Well, it's got. You've got to match your brand, and if you want to be upscale, if you want to be high class, then this everything that people see when they come in, that has to be the emotion that they get whenever they see what's going on in your place.
I know this, that if you walk into a restaurant and the bathrooms are gross, usually people don't want to go there. So I've put this on the notes for today, and I'm going to make sure I'll put a link to it here, Chup. There, I'll put the notable quote over here. This is Michael Levine, and Michael Levine is the PR consultant of choice for Nike, for Pizza Hut, for Nancy Kerrigan, for the Bushes, for the Clintons.
Michael Jackson.
Chup, can you read the notable quotable from Michael Levine?
Yep. He says, if you give someone a present.
Hey, real quick, I feel like we need to get that echo
get some
action.
music in there. Oh, echo.
Now, real quick. Now, Steve.
I failed at this last time.
Steve,
I need your echo
to be echo.
to be kind of like a. Like that's what you're doing. Steve, practice real quick. And then I'll kind of say the words after. And between the two of us, it's going to be awesome.
All right, I got it.
All right, Chef, here we go.
If you give someone a present and you give it to them in a Tiffany box, it's likely that they'll believe that the gift has a higher perceived value than if you gave it to them in no box or a box of less prestige. That's not because the receiver of the gift is a fool, but instead because we live in a culture in where we gift wrap everything. Our politicians, our corporate heads, our movie and TV stars, and even our toilet paper. Good job, Steve. That was good.
Oh, it's impressive. Very good.
I think I have a new job.
Nice.
Okay, so again, why do you have to make sure that the branding is on point if you're going to start to charge premium prices in your joint?
Here's what you got to know. Like Clay said, if
I'm
they
waiting for
walk into the bathroom and they see that it is disgusting, well, they're going to think, what else is disgusting in this place? How are they handling the food? Are they cleaning the kitchen? Are they actually washing the dishes? So you have to have those sites looking right.
I would just encourage you, if you're out there today and you say, I don't know what to do, just listen to this podcast, make a list, go to the show notes, and make sure every aspect of your business is great. Now, again, talking to my buddy, and I'm just firing through these, and he was asking me for feedback. I'm not calling him to criticize. He's calling me. A very well-known person in Dallas is saying, hey, dude, I'm wanting to raise my prices. I want to become premium. And I go through this, and every time he goes, I don't have that in place. Now, the smell factor and the sound factor. Sounds. Why do you absolutely have to have a really nice ambiance and sound for your restaurant, Chup, if you're going to charge a premium price?
Because if you don't, man, that crap is just weird. You know what I mean? That awkward, silent, or if the music doesn't match the theme or the motif, if you will, you got hard rock, heavy metal rock playing in your upscale Italian restaurant. People aren't. It's a cognitive dissonance, a dissonance. People aren't going to put those two together. So it's super important that you put people at ease and you make it a comfortable place with the sounds.
I'm going to cue up the music real quick that I think best is the atmosphere for my buddy's restaurant, and this is kind of the vibe. But it's kind of like. He almost needs that kind of vibe.
Yeah, it's nice upscale.
You know, where it's kind of like
a little tempo to it.
Yeah, it's got a nice. You know, and you want to. It's not that loud. You want to pull it down a little bit. You know. Let's do another one. Let's do another one. There we go. Like let's do a different kind of.
Ooh, yeah.
Right there. You know, and if you're at this restaurant, I mean, Steve, you don't want to be having a restaurant where it's totally quiet. I mean, you don't want to say.
No.
So, Chuck, what do you want? What do you guys work? I mean, how was your weekend? It's weird. It's weirder if I say.
Did you just hear that? His weekend was terrible.
Chubb, how was your weekend, man? It's a little bit weirder. But if I crank it up, it's like, you guys want some calamari?
Oh, yeah.
Calamari?
Two for me.
Calamari? Okay.
Yeah, baby.
Something about that music creates that right atmosphere and rhythm. Now, if you have an Italian restaurant, you might want to go with Italian music, but it's got to be up-tempo. So let me just kind of cue up something here. Let me just get kind of a...
When the moon hits... Oh, sorry.
Here we go. Yeah, here we go. I mean, wouldn't that make you want to have Italian food?
This is great. I want spaghetti right now.
I feel like we're in Italy right now. I don't know why I changed my voice.
And welcome to my Italian restaurant. Chopper, would you like to have a calamari?
This is where we make it a meatball.
Would you like to have a calamari?
Would you like it a juice? You like it a juice? You like it to meatballs?
I'll just have a water if that's okay.
No, but you have to be intentional about the background
Right.
music. You do, don't you?
You do. And you've got to make it into like a system. If this is your restaurant, your employees are going to try and change the music.
I was going to go work
Welcome
out
to
after this,
Papa
but I think I'm going to go to
Chops.
it.
Papa Chops.
Papa Chops.
Now, your employees are going to want to change it to whatever they like. And the problem with that is it's usually not what customers like.
Danzig.
One day I walked into the DJ Connection offices, true story, and we met with primarily brides. And we're meeting with most of the bride to book their wedding for DJ and wedding entertainment services.
I'm feeling it.
Oh, yeah.
And I walk in and this
Crank it up,
music's
Clay.
playing. Here we go.
Crank it up.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Mother.
Oh, yeah. Tell your children not to walk my way.
Tell your children not to run my way.
Yeah.
What you heard, what you say.
Here we go. There we go.
Here we go.
Mother.
Yeah.
Tell your children to eat spaghetti
Oh.
and order some garlic sticks as well.
Come on, we gotta go to the chorus.
Oh, mother.
Come on now.
Lasagna.
Yeah. Yes. I want to fight the bride.
Get
No,
that Caesar
nobody-
with some anchovies. Oh, are we done? Okay.
Nobody wants to buy from a wedding entertainment company.
I don't
that's
know.
playing that.
I don't
serious.
know why they got in a fight.
Listen, I walked in to the DJ Connection offices where we're meeting with brides and their mothers to book weddings.
I don't understand what's the problem.
And we have the music we've chosen is very much, it's like Michael Bublé is kind of the vibe we went with.
yeah.
And I'd say Michael Bublé, Come Fly With Me is probably the best. And so the music we're playing is kind of like, there we go.
Some exotic booze, there's a bar.
Ooh, yeah.
And it just says vibe.
For real said Danzig, and then he picked the Danzig
But we
song.
walk in.
That's awesome.
We walk in, and I'm not kidding. I walk into the offices just to check on the guys,
Yeah.
and it's just jamming. Mother!
Well, Clay.
Tell your children not to walk my way.
Clay, she was meeting with her
Tell your
mom.
children not to hear my words. What they mean, what they say. Ah! It's crazy.
I'm out of breath.
And then it
But
switches
if you
to
want to
father.
find hell with me, no, it's not going to work. I can show you what it do. He says, he says, I can show you what it's till you're bleeding.
Oh, my God.
I don't know the context of which he was describing that to his mother. but So, are you familiar with Du Hast? Du Hashmish?
Yeah.
Are you really?
I think I know what you're talking about.
It's like the German song.
That one?
Yes, this is a song that was playing. I walked into the call center one day, and I'm like, this is what they're playing. No. What in the crap? I don't want to hear that in my office. So you've got to be very intentional about the sound, specifically in a restaurant. I'm telling you, it's a problem. Now, the smells.
Big time.
People do not want to smell
You.
the previous customer.
Exactly.
No, it's like, hey, welcome to the Italian restaurant.
Ooh.
And one of the Indian specials we have right now is we harness the smell. We capture the smell of the previous customer.
It's a Mario Zabio.
Recently, we had a Mario, and we had Amanda over there. We had a Mario over there. Walk on in, you can smell the behind.
Spaghetti, it goes right through you.
Nobody wants to smell that. So you got to make sure you're intentional about the sounds, the smells, the decor.
Yeah.
Told my buddy, I said, dude, make sure you have pictures. Your family invented these recipes. They're well known. They're known in Hollywood. Get the black and white photos up.
Is this
Come
Bill
on.
Ragu?
No,
Are you talking about old Bill Ragu?
I cannot mention who it is.
I know.
No, but you got to get
You've got to.
You got to get the black and white photos that show the history. Who made the recipes?
Right.
Who started it? You've got to do it.
And it needs to match, right? If you're serving Italian food, don't have classic cars all over the place.
Can I rip in a general way on my buddy here?
Yeah, generally.
The music that's playing is pop music, and it's in an Italian restaurant. All of the decor is either absent or not at any point connected to the Italian theme. Now, the customer interaction. When you walk in there, there's nobody who greets you in a systematic way. Every time it's different. That's an issue.
That's a big issue.
Hey.
People want consistency.
People don't even look at you, and you walk in, and you're kind of looking around.
Okay, so let's pretend you got hired tomorrow to work at Subway. What do you ask the customer first thing when you walk in?
White or wheat?
Welcome to Subway, what kind of bread would you like, right?
Right.
If you're feeling sarcastic, you'd say, welcome to Subway. What kind of colored bread do you want?
Ooh.
Because they're all the same, really. But anyway,
Right.
so that's what kind of bread. And then you'd ask, what kind of
Meat.
meat? We've never worked there, but we know this. Then you'd ask, do you want
Cheese.
Right. And would you like for me to toast?
Do you want it
Toast.
toasted?
Do you want toast?
Right.
Yeah.
These are all things we ask because Subway has
I
a
can pass
process
this test. I can
and
pass.
a system. And if you don't have a process and system in place, then people don't want to come back. It's not consistent. It's not a good move. So you've got to script all these things out. We put it all in the show notes.
Yes.
But you can't call yourself a premium restaurant if you're not premium. And you can't call it a fireplace if there is no place for fire.
Go to the show notes. It's at the top. You've got to see what he's talking about.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom.